All right.
Hey guys, so we're here at Mindset Media Studios, and hold on, let me start again. Okay. Hey guys, we're at Mindset Media Studios, and I have Blaise of Real Producers here. He's been a great sport coming to the studios. And let me take off my headphones because I don't need to hear myself speaking. So, Blaise, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate the time that you've put bringing in some guests or inviting some guests, and the fact that we're trying to develop a great relationship for future purposes. But before I go too crazy, let's tell everybody technically what you are about and what you do.
Sure. So thank you so much for having me. It's been great getting to really know you over the last couple of weeks, Carlos, that is for sure, and what Mindset Media is about. And the hat that I'm wearing today is the area director and publisher of Real Producers Magazine. And at Real Producers Magazine, we are highlighting the top 500 agents here in Nassau and Suffolk counties. And we do that by our monthly publication that is mailed out to those top 500. It's sent out electronically to the top 1,000. And we have our preferred partners or our ad partners, and they're the ones who support us so that we could give all of those things, the events and the publication, all complimentary to the top agents.
So this is a monthly magazine, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And in this monthly magazine, you have articles about the agents, but you also have highlights on different businesses relating to the real estate industry. Is that right?
Yep. So we highlight the top agents in the area so that people could get to know their stories. And then also our preferred partners, they all get spotlighted at one point or another in that publication.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in that? Like, I understand a little bit of your story from before, but then suddenly you got involved with where did that come from?
Yeah, so Long Island is its own little animal. It's different than everywhere else in the country. So Real Producers, there's 150 of these publications across the country.
Nice.
They had tried for about 2 years to 2.5 years to get something to print here on the island. But they had a little bit of a difficulty, so they came to me in the end of March of 2023 asking me if I would help them launch it. So I helped them launch it, and I connected them with the right realtors and preferred partners, and we had our first issue was of August of 2023.
Okay.
In that time, the publication has grown. It had some serious growing pains, I'd say, along the way. But I took over the publication in November of 2025 now.
Okay.
So now I have complete control over the territory, myself and my wife, Christine. And since that short time, we've really caught a lot of good traction.
Nice.
With the real estate agents, with our preferred partners. We have an event coming up here on the 16th. We have over 125 agents registered for that event, and it's about them creating a community. We want to connect, elevate, and inspire, right? When we could do that as a profession, a rising tide lifts all ships, so really that's what we're about.
So one of the things I really enjoyed is, one, you have a great personality, and that personality really helps in terms of feeling the confidence that growth is the mission overall. And so one of the things that I really enjoyed conversing with you is that it didn't feel like it was a challenge. It felt more like, there's a lot of growth, and we want to do it together.
Yes.
So that was a big deal for me. And so, I'm very glad that we were able to do today. We had our launch, or inaugural, let's say, event. And one of the things I enjoyed was that you were, calling me up, making sure that you knew what was going on, and that you volunteered to help and that type of stuff. So I greatly appreciate that. Now, outside of the event, what's your strategy? What's your next thought process? And how does Mindset Media kind of fall into play with that?
Yeah, so I think that Mindset Media, as we continue to progress here, It's just a natural good partner, right? Because we have the media as far as the magazine, and we have the networking with our events. What's a nice piece that Mindset Media is going to be able to come in with is this exact piece, the digital piece,
Yeah.
right? The social media piece. That then everything really could come together, you know? And I'm really excited about that. And, you know, our relationship is very, very much in the beginning stages.
Of course.
And, you know, what I like about these creative spaces is what we maybe even be thinking about right now, it'll probably be much different 6 months down the road
That's
from now.
true. So as an example, just as a background on my end, so when I started doing digital video, you know, it's hard to give it a title, but the YouTubes, the streaming, that type of stuff, I got involved in the business side of things. And one of my first clients when I started doing this type of work was a Latin newspaper. Now, the Latin newspaper was 3 months from going out of business. And they were owned by maybe I shouldn't mention names, but anyway, they were owned by a bigger newspaper. And what was cool is they were willing to try. Now, I wasn't offering them a big package. I said, look, you got a whole newsroom. We can use that newsroom as your background instead of trying to build a studio. And you know, we'll use 1 camera, 2 cameras, and stuff like that. So the expense to get in wasn't going to be very high. And then, so we did it. Long story short, within the first 6 weeks, because it was Latin, I believe, what they did is they were able to draw up millions of followers and viewers. There was a hunger for their community to watch and be part of their growth structure of video. And we managed to then use AP News to get like the footage, let's say a president lands at the airport, you know how they get like that
Sure.
B-roll. So we were able to access all that live and then bring it into live streams and that type of stuff. Then they were able to get a reporter from CNN, CNN Latino, and they brought him in. So it was all Spanish speaking live streams and that type of stuff. Okay, fast forward again. They ended up selling the newspaper for millions and millions of dollars. The value that it brought to them
Sure.
was so extreme that they went from almost going bankrupt to now. And now 10 years later, the CEO of that company, who I built 2 studios with, you know, contacted me for another gig. And so clearly it helped them for another 10 years.
Wow.
And so I guess the point I'm trying to get to is, you may have a publication and the publication can thrive because they're still doing newspaper. Is that when you add the video component to the infrastructure of the data and information, you don't want to not have you know, something to read. You want to give them the beginning process of, here's a story about a person. But then you can also then bring the video because you want to bring that personality. You want to see how a person speaks and all that stuff. But one thing is to read it and then just kind of make that image in your head. It's another for them to then see the personality of the real estate agent or even your publication and their personality.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's where the magazine comes to life and it jumps off the pages. You know, and that's why our networking events, you know, that's where it all comes together and everything jumps off the pages and comes to life. You know, and for us, you know, yes, of course, the publication is really important, but we're really about the overall community. So if we continue to work with Mindset Media and we continue to strategize, and we could really help our readership and our top 500 agents be branded the way they want to be branded, and their voice could be heard, and it could be all sent out there in a very, very professional manner. You know, your experience in this field and expertise is honestly second to none. You know, the time that I've spent speaking with you,
Thank you.
Your experience and the amount of humbleness that you show, because you are clearly an expert in this field, and the way you're going to be able to help our readership and the agents who we highlight in the publication, like I said, then that's really a win-win for me. You know, the publication, that's going to carry and catch its own momentum, but when we can bring value to like I said, the agents especially, and the other preferred partners, that's where we really win.
Awesome. Well, listen, so I look forward to having this relationship. I look forward to seeing how we can develop and strategize and grow and help others grow. Because really that's the thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, I've done my piece and that's great. Now it's a matter of me using whatever knowledge I have and helping others in their industries and their businesses grow by giving them access and knowledge and strategy that they didn't have access to before, or they couldn't afford it. You know, 'cause this isn't cheap either.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to be able to make this a pleasant experience for them, but also have a direction. And so hopefully that will be the mission between the two of us
Yeah.
and the industries that we're working with.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, right? And right, so like you said, like this isn't cheap either, right? And it's certainly not. But you have to compare whatever that cost may be to the overall value. Because there's a lot, you know, something may not be cheap, but if it's bringing a lot of value, well, I'm getting a lot of value for my dollar.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Because you could work with other media companies and content creation companies, but if you're not getting the value, then you're just spending money.
Right.
Right? When you're getting value and you're expecting to get an ROI on something, now you're investing money. Right? And I'd much rather be investing my money in something than spending my money in something.
Agreed. Awesome. Well, listen, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but I wanted to have everybody kind of get an idea of how it went today and the fact that we're working together to some extent, and we'll be growing that relationship even more. So thank you so much, Blaise, for coming.
Thank you.
You know,
I appreciate you.
I hope we have a bright future together, and I hope you guys follow Mindset Media. If you think that this is something that can work for you, feel free to go to our website, mindsetmediausa.com. And, you know, even if it's to come to see the studio, get an idea of picking my brain, understanding how I can help your business, and we'll go from there. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.